Hey there, YouTube. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit about not necessarily the history of camping gear, but something that happened that affected how people camped and trekked, backpacked tremendously in the early 20th century. And to do that, I want to talk about crackers. I want to talk about biscuits. So let's do a little bit of a dive into that. Okay, now I've stated before on this channel the importance of bread to humanity. Bread is a staple. Every culture has some form of bread, whether it's wheat-based or rice-based or corn-based. Everybody has bread. Bread is the most important human food, in my opinion. I can't think of anything more important than bread other than Tex-Mex that you can buy here in Houston. That's a different story. Now, one of the problems with bread, in the sense of sandwich bread, is that it's not easily transportable and it doesn't store for a long time. By the 1890s, 1880s, women would be baking bread at least twice a week, if not once a day, depending on the size of the family. They would actually bake bread in the home. It was not really available in the stores, except as biscuits, what they called biscuits at the time, what we call crackers today. The most common form of crackers was hardtack. And you could buy that in the store, and it was delivered to the store in either barrels or wooden boxes. Okay. At the time, barrels full of crackers were so common in small stores all across the country, in towns large and small, villages and huge cities. There would be a barrel full of crackers in the store, and people would gather around the cracker barrel and pick up crackers to take home so they wouldn't have to bake bread. And that started a huge restaurant chain in the United States called Cracker Barrel. That is the significance of the word Cracker Barrel. But there is a problem with delivering crackers to the home, to the store, in boxes and barrels. And let me show you what that is. This is some very authentic hardtack I made to take to squirrel camp, and I packaged it in a box. Okay, this is how you would get it, and if you look, you can see we've got some nearly whole crackers, but we've got a whole lot more little tiny bits of crackers. Okay, can you see that? It's not bad stuff. There had to be a better way to package crackers so that they wouldn't break, so that you could get what you wanted. Okay, so now we'll go to industry consolidation. Now, what was happening to the market at the time was that there would be, you would have a small town might have 2 bakers in it competing against each other. A large city might have up to a dozen, and they were all competing against each other. And they would be very small, not huge production numbers. And they would compete together. They would start having price wars, which is good for the consumer, but bad for the company. One guy would have a product that costs him 5 cents to make, and he'd sell it for 10 cents. And his competitor would say, be selling the same product, and he'd say, well, I want to sell more, I'm going to sell mine for 8 cents. And then the first guy would say, well, I'm going to go for 7 cents. And it would all come down until the price of selling to the consumer price, was only just a teeny tiny bit above the production cost. It's great for the consumer, bad for the company. And anytime any kind of economic downturn happens, those companies go out of business. People are out of jobs, and suddenly nobody can buy crackers anymore. So in 1890, a group of 8 bakers in the city of Chicago got together, and they formed a company called the American Biscuit Company. And what they did was they joined forces, and they all started marketing under this one brand, the American Biscuit Company. And they came in competition with a company called the New York Biscuit Company. And for a couple of years, they were competing against it, and the same cycle was happening. The price wars. This guy goes 5 cents, this guy goes 4, this guy goes 3, this guy goes 2, and then all of a sudden it looks like both companies, now huge corporations, are going to go out of business. So they formed together, and they made a company called the National Biscuit Company. At the time, they called it NBC. Today, we call it Nabisco. Okay? And they formed another company called the United Biscuit Company. And they marketed their products under the name Unida. Unida Biscuit. That was the company. Okay, so now I have an example here of a product made by that company. Okay, the way that they shipped their products to the stores. The National Biscuit Company, which sold Unida biscuits, shipped it to the stores in, rather than large wooden boxes, they shipped with cardboard boxes. Okay, and this is the way that they would ship it to the store, and the store would just put these on the shelves. If you look real closely here, you can see there's a spot. Let me grab it and do it on this side. There's a spot right here that says cents, okay? And the store owner would fill in this little circle here that would tell what the price of the product inside. This right here talks about, this is a box full of NBC soda crackers. We'll get into that in a minute, okay? And usually you can see here where part of the label was pasted, okay? What was inside? Okay, what was inside this box? It wasn't a box like this. That's because in 1898, when the National Biscuit Company was finally formed, they also came up with a copywritten, trademarked system for packaging crackers. In this case, soda crackers. And the reason why I bought this box full of stuff is it's got some original boxes in it. What Nabisco invented and the way they marketed was a system called the Inner Seal. I-N-E-R seal. Inner Seal. The first part of the system was a paper wrapper around this box. If you look very closely, you can see how the National Biscuit Company is embossed on this box. This was a revolution at the time, okay? A box full of crackers. Today we take it for granted. This was a revolution in the 1890s. The box is very unique in how it is put together. Okay, and I'm going to treat this a little bit carefully because it is an original. It's about 100 years old, likely. I don't have any actual way of dating it. And we'll get it, let's see if we can see, let me get the light going. Do you see how this is formed? Okay. It's not glued together. This is a single piece of cardboard that is folded. Okay. So the first part of the inner seal system was the paper wrapper around the box. The box itself, but the thing that revolutionized the industry was the inner seal pad. The entire thing together was a system. But here's what the true revolutionary part of Nabisco's inner seal system looked like. That's right. This is a miniature size or a half size marketed today of saltine crackers. Okay, this is the secret to the inner seal. It creates an airtight seal. It's airtight for, a while, a couple of years it'll be airtight. It's wax paper, heat sealed at the ends and along the sides. Okay, that is the inner seal. Gonna finish my hard pack. Okay, the inner seal system and the Unita biscuit name became so popular that companies started copying it. And Nabisco, the national biscuit company, was very, very, very aggressive in copyright claims. Okay. By the beginning of the First World War, they had successfully litigated 836 copyright claims for other companies using the inner seal system, packaging in a bag like this and in a box like this, wrapped in paper. Okay, it was only the advent of the First World War when the United States Army needed to be able to package hardtack, hard bread, in huge quantities, and Nabisco was unable to satisfy that need, that they started letting other companies use the system. And since it was originated in 1898, by 1918, 20 years later, those copyright claims started being less and less effective. Okay, and today, packaging like this is common among all manufacturers of crackers and biscuits. Now, let's talk about this right here. Okay, the soda crackers. What's a soda cracker? A soda cracker is hardtack. It has baking soda in it. And what comes out of that? Saltine crackers. You put salt on the result, and that's so today they don't call these soda crackers anymore. They call them saltines. Okay, but that is what a soda cracker is. Now, this packaging system, this system of packaging bread items, cookies and crackers and biscuits, small biscuits, again, it revolutionized camping, okay, and backpacking, because now you could carry bread in the field. Now you could carry it in a package where everything didn't get broken. Okay, if you carry a package of this in a cardboard box in your pack, it'll last. Okay, there's enough strength in the cardboard to keep everything from getting crushed, unless you put a lot of other heavy stuff in your pack and this is at the bottom, or if you fall over and your pack hits a rock. Okay, But packaging like this, in a box like this, was enough to be able to transport food in haversacks and backpacks. Okay? As far as that applies to our living history presentations and impressions, we should be able to carry this stuff in the field. And what I've done at Vico Expedition Outfitters on Facebook is I have started making reproductions of the inner seal packaging. Okay. This is an original Nabisco box. I just showed it to you. Okay. This is one of the reproductions I make. Okay. And this is how it will come to you. Okay. It will come to you as a cardboard packaging that you can fold and make, and a label. And in this case, we're going with Fig Newtons. Okay, I'm looking for the soda cracker label. As soon as I find it, we're going to make packaging to fit saltine crackers. Okay, this is going to come with at the same time I release this, I'm going to have a video showing how to assemble this. I'm not going to take that time here. I just wanted to inform you about the history of this kind of packaging and how it can be used in living history for trekking, backpacking, and motor camping applications. One thing I'll show you about this, it probably won't show up. What I have done, people ask you where the barb is. Okay, the first thing is, on the original, we have an embossed National Biscuit Company that shows up. On the reproduction, it's not really embossed, it's kind of inlet, but it does say National Biscuit Company. Turn it around so you can see it. Okay. The other thing is, the cardboard from the original is relatively thin. It was a one-use kind of thing. You're going to throw it away or use it to start your campfire. The reproductions I'm making is much thicker cardboard. Okay, that's so that you can reuse it. Okay, and it's a little bit stronger in your pack and your box. Okay, but other than that, it's pretty much 100% historically accurate. When I sell these, I will sell these in a package with 2 of these labels. The labels will be coming, the wrappers will come pre-scored. I don't know if you can see the score lines there or not. Okay, but that will aid you in folding it. Okay, the cardboard box portion is also pre-scored so that you can fold it. Okay, and it will come with the inner seal label copywritten. This is actually the 1918 logo. Okay, I have not yet made one from 1923. They made the change in 1923. I think we're okay with this as far as authenticity is concerned. I will attempt to make the 1923 inner seal end piece for those who want 100% historical authenticity, but this is enough to tell the story of the inner seal. So if you want to use in a public demonstration, if you want to use your reproduction as a way of explaining how the inner seal came out and how that affected the culture of the nation at the time, this will do. Okay, how did it affect the culture? How did it change? The cost of biscuits and crackers and cakes and other things that came in packaging like this was actually higher than baking them yourselves. And if your financial situation was such that you really needed to save money, you would do your own baking. And the kinds of things that you could make were limited by what you were able to get locally. But there was time savings involved. A woman, a family could buy enough crackers to feed their family for a month and have enough variety that they could buy it in bulk, put it on the shelf in the kitchen, and not have to worry about baking. Okay? And that included bread. Okay? Bread started coming in other packaging other than the inner seal packaging. But anyway, we're going to be doing a lot more period packaging at Vico Expedition Outfitters, and I'm doing it mainly because this hobby is starting to grow, and we're getting out of the point where we can do our presentations and our living history interpretations, our re-encampments, using period gear or modern gear that stands in for it. But we don't have anything right now that shows people how it got to them in the store, in the home, okay? What you went to the store and bought. We can do all sorts of other things that didn't involve that kind of thing. But now what I'm trying to do is you can go shopping, okay? You can go to the store and you can buy Nabisco. You can buy other boxes and packaging, okay? And what I hope, my fervent hope is that somebody else sees the potential, somebody else is dedicated enough to the hobby, that they look at the stuff I'm doing and decide they're going to do a better job. That's what I really, really want, is somebody to do a better job, be able to make more of it, and sell it at a cheaper price. That's what I want. I'm 72 years old. I'm not going to get rich doing this. But I want to put enough stuff out there so that people can have a decent presentation. And when people look at their presentation, they learn something about the period. Okay? Like I said, there'll be more, and we're going to follow this up with a video on how to assemble the kit for Fig Newtons. And we're going to come out with soda crackers and other Nabisco products. The soda crackers is the one I'm really, really, really going after because saltines, that's a staple on the trail. Okay? All right? I hope you learned something. I hope you go to Vico Expedition Outfitters. We are not quite live for sales of this stuff as of the release of this video. It'll be a couple of weeks. I'm still waiting for some materials to come in. I got my designs pretty much all down. I will emphasize that all of these are handmade. Okay, it takes a while to make this stuff. I've got some limited machinery that eliminates a lot of the steps, but in the end, we're still assembling this stuff by hand. I've got more products coming out. There'll be more videos showing them. There'll be a lot of shorts coming out on how to assemble each one of the products as they come out. People are going to need to know how to do it. Okay, it's some of it is like this here. This is not really something that you can figure out without somebody telling you how to do it. Okay, all right. Keep your eye on the channel for more stuff. I've got some more history of gear stuff coming out. I've got some more living history stuff coming out. I've been kind of busy putting this stuff together. Hope to get back on track. So until that time, we'll see you down the trail.